My name is Janine Crooks, and I'm the moderator of the panel here. And I want to thank you all for coming, for choosing to spend your time with us today. Our topic is growing a mature affiliate program. And, you know, I'm sure we've all been in the industry now for a little while, and this can be one of the most challenging things you can do. So what I tried to do was put together a collection of really good minds on this who'd be able to kind of guide us all through some of the things that, you know, that can really make a difference. And while I can't promise that it's all going to be, you know, brand new to you, the thing that I'm hoping that you'll go through is take some of the points from here and be able to say, you know what, I haven't done that in a while. I haven't done that in a while. I haven't done that in a while. Because I think we're all guilty of that along the way. We have so much on our plates. But perhaps it'll just spark something for you that'll be able to help you be able to make a difference in your program. So first, I'd just like to introduce our panel quite quickly. Immediately to my right is John Labruto, and John is the Director of Affiliate Partnerships for 1&1. He's got 15 years of sales experience plus 5 years of marketing experience in the affiliate marketing industry, so he's been around for a while. Next to him is Rick Gardner. Rick is the CEO of iAffiliate Management, which is an affiliate management agency, and he's been in the industry for 10 years and has some pretty impressive clients that he's worked with along the way. And then finally, at the very end, we have Mike Allen. Mike is the chief executive shopper for shoppingbargains.com, which was one of the original coupon sites. And he must be very, very good at it because he was actually Affiliate of the Year in 2009. So he's got a lot of wisdom to bring to us. And then, as I said, my name is Janine Crooks. I'm a senior account manager for Affiliate Window. I've been in the industry since '99. I've been a merchant, I've been a vendor, I've been an affiliate. This is my second time with an affiliate network. So hopefully we can bring a variety of perspectives for you. And you know what? There's probably some questions you'd like to ask different people. You know, what do you guys really think about that? So we're going to make sure we leave time at the end for plenty of questions. So to begin, John is going to speak first.
Well, hopefully, I know how to use this equipment and we'll be able to move forward. How are you all doing this morning? Everybody had the second cup of coffee, everybody's really ready to go, ready to absorb knowledge and share knowledge. That's kind of what we're here for, right? So, assuming that I can get all this right, I wanted to give you just a background of what I've done, you know, why I'm here, and why I have any kind of knowledge to actually have a conversation about these topics. Basically, I started out a very long time ago with a little company called Command Airways. Most of my career was in the travel industry initially. Command Airways eventually became American Airlines, and I worked from the airport side to the sales manager side, and I dealt with very large travel agencies as a senior account manager for them in the New York City area. Moved over to a company that was owned at the time by American, Sabre, and I was their technology director also on the agency side, and I was dealing with the technical concerns and putting in wide area networks for some of the larger travel agencies. Then I decided to just get away from it all and do my own thing, and I started a company called Pencils Plus. PencilsPlus.com actually was absorbed by another company when I sold it, and we basically did office supplies and printing, but we had a business plan to do basically what W.B. Mason did about 6 months before we did. So we decided to go more in the online market and realm and dabbled into affiliate marketing, and that's how I got really the taste for this business. Then I went back to Sabre, which owns Travelocity, and I ran their Holiday Autos USA division for, I was their US sales director, and we were really entering the United States, and that's a competitor order Europe. Again, affiliate marketing, distribution, things of that nature on the travel side. And then we did a startup at Travelocity called All Hotels, and I was their global distribution manager or head of global distribution. And that really is where I got into emerging markets, really identifying programs, starting up programs. And this is where my career started, where I'd come in and actually, for a startup or an established company, open a new market or go ahead and you know, just develop the program from scratch. And then I moved over to TripAlerts. That was a startup, and it actually was absorbed by another company recently, and now I'm with, and very happily with, 1&1 Internet as their director of affiliate partnerships. So I bring to the table ideas on how to start a program. My specialty, I would think, is emerging markets, because I did a lot of work like that. And I went into an established program, and now it's like, what can I bring to the table? And that was the key thought process for me into this presentation, because I think going into an established market is the same way as looking at it fresh and saying, how do I grow it? And having the experience of starting something from scratch, you have the benefit of, you know, in an established program, of having all the infrastructure in place, all the process in place, but you got to make it your own. Whereas when you start it up, it's all new and you can do whatever you want. But there's barriers. Whenever you come into something new, there's always barriers. So we're going to talk about that later. Another mental exercise I did was to say, and by the way, welcome to Philadelphia. How do I approach this presentation? How do I give you what kind of knowledge I know? And I wanted to start out with a joke. And I'm good at telling jokes, but I'm not going to start out with a joke. But born of that thought process, I came up with that stupid question that people ask in presentations on, who would you have dinner with that is no longer living, and some of the people that you would like to gain knowledge from. And excluding political figures and religious figures, I came up with these three, and they really are heroes of mine. And one is very, very relevant to Philadelphia. So Ben Franklin is a personal hero of myself. Man was a genius. I think he invented the first internet, if you think about it, with the Pony Express and the post offices and the printing, and being able to have a piece of data go from Philadelphia to North Carolina or Virginia within 24, 48 hours and then print it up and have it ready for the newspapers. Think about that. That was the first internet. That was the first commerce of knowledge and information. And then John Lennon is a personal favorite of mine. Look, the man changed the world, right? Great musician, great philosopher, someone who I have a lot of respect for and feel very deeply for. And then, of course, Albert Einstein. We all know what he did and all the things that he did, but he was really, truly an innovator, thinking out of the box, probably the first human being, maybe the last, that actually thought in 4 dimensions and can talk about it and have thought experiments in that realm. I try to think in 4 dimensions. It doesn't always work. So now taking those 3 people and putting it into terms of why did he even bring this up, I came up with 3 attributes. And they all are interchangeable with these folks, but at the same time they are specific to individual ones. And I would give Mr. Franklin the attribute of smart. Of course, he can give the other 2 the same, but I'll give him that. I'll give Mr. Lennon the attribute of being creative, and Mr. Einstein the attribute of being out of the box. And all the themes that you hear in this presentation, if I don't go too long, will be based on those 3 themes. And where I'm getting at is, the first piece, forget about that for a second, the first piece is you have to approach this fresh. If you've been in a program, how many here, let me get a show of hands, are actual merchant program managers for affiliates? All right, great. We got a great bunch. So you have an existing program. If it's doing well, you don't want to change it. And if it's not doing as well or if it's declining, then you have to get some serious soul searching to figure out what direction to move into. The first thing you have to do, I think, and this comes from me coming into an existing program new, is just take it from a fresh perspective. Try to take all your preconceived notions out the window. Take all of the things that you did, the daily grind, just try to move it away from your thought process. Act like you're new to the program. Try to remember how it was when you came into the program and how you had ideas and how things were, oh, this doesn't work too well and this doesn't work too well, I'd like to do this better. And then as time went on, you were kind of worn down and you did some of those things and you didn't do other of those things. But the approach is where I'm trying to get your mental state. Approach it fresh. Think of how you can change your perspective. Think of how you can come up with new ideas, and also get your team, if you have a team, of course, involved in thinking that way too. Say, hey, we're going to do this all new, and let's figure out how to do this all new. And one of the ways to facilitate that thought process is to develop a business plan. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, or sales plan, depending on how you do things in your company. And again, I mentioned this, but just get out of your grind. God, we all have our grind, our weekly schedules, things that we can do. Just get out of that and think fresh and think about how you can make this work better. So let's start. I have a start button. Windows took it away. I have it back. So from the smart perspective, now going back to our themes, let's be smart about this. Let's try to think this analytically. A full review of the metrics. We have our weekly metrics, we have our monthly metrics, we have our quarterly metrics, and then we also have our yearly metrics that we look at. But do we really look at these numbers differently than we normally do? So overall program performance, that makes sense. Let's look at our commissions. Are they actually doing the job? Are they the problem? Okay? Has our competitor looked at different ways to end around our commission structure, and have they pushed some buttons that maybe are working? And maybe it doesn't cost you any more money. 5% of one number is equal to 10% of another number. So maybe it's a marketing presentation that you have to change. Maybe it isn't the amount of cash that you're giving out, but the way you're representing your cash. Or the way your structure is. Is it a flat rate? Is it a percentage rate? Things like that. So we all know how to do that, but that's something that I would start with. Looking at competitor analysis. Who's in my market? Who came in? Who's gone out? What changes have been made? And again, are you competitive with your incentives, with your creatives, with your tools? Are you doing things that are really great the way they've been going, but could use a freshening up? program reviews. You have networks like, like Janine. Let them do some work for you. Have gap reports pulled. Try to find out exactly who is building, market share for your type of program that are your competitors, right? And that's where you want to go. It's like a blueprint. I've had conversations with our program managers. It's like, look, one-on-one internet is very similar to GoDaddy. We sell the same products. So if you have them on your program, can we just find out how they're doing business and maybe get some ideas from that? It's internal. I'm not asking for their market share. I'm just looking for the framework. How did you set up that program? Not how did they tell you to? So that's shared knowledge, right? So you're isolating a competitor. You realize a competitor may or may not be on your existing program or in that network. And how are they doing business? Are they doing business better than us? Hey, ideas, right? That's what this is all about. Demographic changes. Is your product selling differently than it was selling a year ago, right? Are different people buying your product? And is that the problem, or is that part of an issue? Review your creative strategy. Do you have widgets? Do you have things that are necessary to sell your product and things that make it easier to sell your product? And go ahead and talk to your product managers internally, find out how they're selling the product, what changes will be made, and get aligned with them. I try to be very close with our product managers and our product marketing group, and it's just a vital scenario. And we have a very long lead time before we do promotions at one-on-one, so it could be 2 or 3 months that they're planning things, and you need to know. You need to be involved, and you need to correlate your strategy with theirs. So that this way you're not doing a promotion for a coupon and it ends up bringing the price of the product down to -$2 or something silly like that. Happens all the time, right? 2 different silos. And again, I talked about widgets, but figure out new ways to sell. And then, of course, simple one here, right? Ask your publishers. Ask your publishers the best way to sell your product and get ideas from them. Of course, everybody's going to say things like, I need more money, what have you, but you're going to get strategies from them that'll tell you. And then what happens is with our business, obviously, we're in a scenario, I'm on the first slide, how far am I off here? In a scenario where the product managers, your publishers there will be constant themes. So you can group them up that way based on those conversations. Is this a loyalty guy? Does he need a percentage? Is this someone that needs a flat rate? Is this someone that needs certain kind of coupon promotions and so on? And then one little buzzword I'm going to have, and I think we're all going to use that, is golden nuggets. The golden nuggets are these small opportunities that are in the program, and that's part of the metric review. And you just see a little bit of activity. You just see some sort of potential there. That's the guy, right? You need 100 of those, but you got to start with one. That's the person that you want to start working with and optimizing and figuring out how to make them work for your program, because they're the ones that are going to bring in new business. And they're the ones that weren't on your program before. They were just kind of there. May not know enough about it. More smart. Anybody remember that channel changer there on the TV? Or am I that old? Exactly. That one got worn out. I had one of these, I think. So identify your channels, right? That's another part of being smart. Find out exactly your product-specific publishers, right? Who is selling our product? Who is the advertisers or the publishers that have our customers? So obviously that's step one in a review. Go ahead and add coupons and promo codes if you're not in that business. It doesn't hurt, and you can monitor it, and you can turn it off if it's too much. And everyone loves coupons. We know that, but it's something we have to be reminded. Another channel is loyalty and rewards. That's kind of the big buzz, or at least it was in the past few years. You just want to you want your logo, you want your brand on those products. You want to be able to take full advantage where you can. And if they're sharing your commission, even better. I personally believe if the customer is getting a piece of that, even better. Just helps me sell, helps them sell. And if that's their model, fine with me. We can work through that. Employee rewards, same thing as loyalty. That's another big piece of a channel that's coming through these days in our business. Product feeds, automation, things that let us really do things without having to do things. So that's a big piece. And that's usually the hardest thing to set up, because once it's set up, it's usually okay, and then you have to monitor it. But sometimes they don't get set up right, and they're screwed up, and you don't even know about it. And that's the whole point of being automated, right? To let it ride, but you do need to get in there and make sure it's riding well. And then new markets, and this comes from my emerging market piece. Well, I have an English-speaking site. I have dollars, I'm selling in dollars. Where else can I sell? Well, if I go to Mexico, that's an emerging market, very new to affiliate marketing, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what about India? They'll buy in dollars. They'll go ahead and, wow. Anyway, so I'm going to have to now scoot through this whole presentation a little bit because I talked a little longer. But looking at different, on the smart side, identifying new trends. Have you joined the Daily Deal, retargeting campaigns, internet radio? Find out what the next big thing is, and go ahead and maximize your opportunities. And don't get bogged down in the old ways. So let's go to, okay. So let's go over to creative. So on the creative side, I think that you need to manage your program like an art form. And what does that mean? Well, it means that there are certain rhythms in the metrics that you see, and you see every day. But break out of the rhythm and break into the patterns. Find out the patterns in the metrics that you can identify and make something out of it. And that's the way you do SEM. It's much quicker with SEM because you do something and a couple hours later you have a reaction. We're days and weeks later, but it's the same kind of identification of patterns. Analyze your ROI and analyze it with brand identification. Okay, so don't just go ahead and look at a placement for a time period and say, I increased these sales. That's very important. That's something that we need to, and I hear that all the time, of course, from my folks. But it's also brand identification. Are you getting long-term juice out of that placement on a publisher's site that you paid for? And every publisher can be optimized. You just have to find out and have the time and want to identify what their business strategy is. And really get to know your partners. Clean up your inactive partners, okay? Give them a chance. Come up with programs that go ahead and make it better for them en masse, but at some point just cut them off. Get your program to have a higher conversion rate, get your program to have a lower click rate versus the conversion rate if in fact that is part of your program issues. You know, you may have a lower rating because you have 2,000 publishers and only 300 are giving you any kind of business. So try to capture at least another 100 and 200 of those and then just give up and get rid of those guys that aren't performing. They could always join back if they have a better plan. Next piece, creative. That's on the creative side still. Business plans. How many here do a business plan every year? All right, so we only have a few. How many people build strategies on that business plan to support it? Okay, so it's pretty much the same number. So do a business plan every year. Even if your company's not mandating it, just get it done. Get it done so you have a framework to follow. If you have employees, they have a framework to follow. You don't have to explain yourself all the time because it's written down. You know what the plan is. And then you do mid-course corrections, 6 months, quarterly, whatever. But stick with your plan. Here's a little piece of information that, well, let me get back to it. But review everything. Outline everyone's duties, everyone's responsibilities as part of that plan. Create your milestones. Review your KPIs. And keep what works. But don't be afraid to get rid of what doesn't. Sometimes we get stuck in that. Make a list of can't-dos. That's a huge list for whatever reason. Your program won't let you do it, your company won't let you do it, your technology won't let you do it, because chances are in the future it will happen. You will be able to get this done. But if you don't have that list of things that you thought of, you'll forget about it, and you won't get it done when you can get it done. So keep that in your back pocket. I have a very long list of those, by the way. And then trust your plan and follow it. Churn and optimization. This is a big piece here, okay? We don't always realize, about 25% of our active publishers every year just disappear. They're gone. Our business is that way, you know? So you got to plan for that. And 10% of your top publishers, if you have 10 top publishers, one of those guys are going to disappear in a year. They're going to do something else. They're going to form a business with a competitor. They're going to do something. Or they may just go out of business. So you have to keep adding your publishers. You have to keep on going ahead and getting new blood into your system. And do it like life insurance or salesmen do. You figure out how many people you have to call every month. You figure out how many of those calls generate appointments. You figure out how many appointments, on average, go ahead and generate someone that's interested in your program. And then you figure out how many will produce. I usually go by about 15 a month. So I want to get 15 a month on board if possible. And that's about 3 or 4 a week. You go back each day. So that's part of your own personal discipline. Churn is a part of the business, your performance won't be there, and then go ahead and while you're doing that, pick your golden nuggets and optimize the heck out of them. We're coming down to the end because these guys are getting nervous. I'm taking other people's time. But on the out-of-box piece, how could we have fun, right? Let's make this exciting. Let's make this enjoyable. Let's make this something that people want to be a part of, internally and externally. Plan your customer events. Build team events. Get your network. Get your networks and meet face-to-face. So go to your networks and meet face-to-face. So in other words, meet your program manager. You know, have lunch, give them a call, see what's going on, know them, become friends with them. They're going to do things for you that they probably never would have done if they feel very close to you. So that's just part of, you know, building relationships. And being a great account manager. Those of you who started out as just an account manager, not that anything's just an account manager because we're all account managers, or you know, assistant account manager, get that inspiration to just do the job well and understand the people that you're dealing with, and always have your notes on those accounts. FaceTime is important, you know, but it's non-existent. Everything's very anonymous in our business. So where you can have FaceTime, like events like this, it's worth its weight in gold. And then shake things up on purpose. Okay, it may be time to leave a network. It may be time to add a new network. It may be time to change duties for everybody and find out what skill set that someone had that initially when duties were set up you didn't even know about. So go through that process and review all of your processes. Those are the ones that get you into most trouble. And the last slide, and I'm going to turn it over in just a moment, is develop out-of-box ideas. Talk to your competitors. Get to know your counterparts. I know the GoDaddy people, and I like them a lot. So get to know those folks. Get to know the people that sell your product on another company. Find out what they're doing. You're going to get intelligence from them. You're going to share ideas. You're going to get really cool information. You're not going to get it all. It's going to be strategic, but it might be a piece of information you didn't have before. Share your ideas, and get good at networking, and get good at networking out of the box. Come up with ideas to bring home that maybe are something that you wouldn't have done before. Another idea in the last 2 here is get an outside firm to do an analysis on your affiliate program. You don't have to go with them, but you can take their ideas. And maybe you want to go with them. Maybe they have good ideas. But the point being is get an outside consultant in to take a good look at what you're doing, and maybe you've missed something, or maybe there's a completely different way to do things, or maybe they're going to tell you everything you're doing exactly the way you're doing it, and then you're vindicated in a way in your mind. Lastly, do something big. Okay? Do something that is completely off the wall, something no one else has done. And I'm going to use an example, internal and external. On an internal, we were going to Mexico. We launched in Mexico in January. And one of the things, and one of the hugest barriers were there's no rev share program in Mexico. It just doesn't exist. Everything is CPA or everything is CPC. They want money up front. So what do? You create a network, and you get down there with boots on the ground, and you make it happen. And once you make it happen, other people will make it happen. It's as simple as that. That's what we did. We partnered with a company called Vorku. We created it from scratch. Affiliate Windows joining us in Mexico soon. So we'll have 2 networks. But that's how you spiral things out of control. And no one else is doing what we're doing in Mexico. We are the first. Speaking of firsts, another out-of-box idea that I'm going to leave you with is our friends at GoDaddy partnering with OfficeMax. Great idea. I wish I had it myself. Hats off to them. That is an out-of-box idea. But you don't have to necessarily be first to be best. If someone's doing something like that, you can do it too. Find a partner. The best person is the one that wins, not necessarily the first. So if anybody knows any Staples reps, send them over to 802. That's our booth. Happy to talk to them and make something even better. Anyway, these are some ideas I wanted to share with you. I'm sorry I went a little long. Looking forward to questions, and I hope you got something out of it. Thank you.
And next, to give us an OPM perspective, Rick Gardner.
Thank you, Janine and John. So we just wanted to share a little bit about my background prior to getting on the agency side. I have done some work on the network side as well. So prior to starting iAffiliate Management, worked for Digital River and One Network Direct, one of their flagship affiliate networks, working with different consumer technology and software brands. In terms of our agency, we're really focused on helping our customers acquire new customers they can't reach today by these hardworking affiliate relationships. So in terms of defining what a mature affiliate program is, there's different approaches in things that go with managing a new versus old program. So typically a mature affiliate program has been around probably 18 months or so. And so you have a lot of data. And I think one of the things that most affiliate managers overlook is the possibilities and what you can learn. You know what publishers, how they're converting, how they're performing. You have historical data around conversion rates, click-throughs, and things of that nature, as well as creative performance. You know, banners may or may not work, but your widgets are doing really well. So having that historical data will help you craft and shape the strategy for finding incremental revenue opportunities within your existing program. There's also different growth tactics. So early on when you're launching a program, it's all about recruitment. Well, when the program matures, you're going to have a more balanced approach. As John mentioned, you're going to have churns. You need to continually feed the funnel. But at the same time, there's specific strategies and tactics that you should be focusing on activating your existing publisher base, as well as optimizing those relationships. Many of your top publishers may have marketing channels that you may not be aware of, or they have their own product map that is going to be introducing new opportunities, technology, or traffic sources that they don't have today. So really being in tune with your publishers by analyzing the data is key. And then you have your epic successes as well as your epic failures. So I always like the phrase fail fast. So if you're testing things, I think that's one of the great things about this industry. You get to test a lot of cool stuff. Some of it's going to work. Some of it is going to crash and burn miserably. But those are those opportunities that you're going to learn the most so that you can really steer the program and find new opportunities that you're not testing today. So the course of my presentation is probably going to be a little bit more of a deep dive into what some of the things that John talked about. So he talked a little bit about doing affiliate audits or publisher audits. You know, the goal is really to understand who your partners are. So doing surveys, asking what they like about being an affiliate and a partner. Understand what they don't like. Are there things that you know that are things that you've overlooked that are pretty blatant that it turned them off? So really getting an understanding of what you're doing well, so you have that kind of self-awareness in the program is key. Also understanding the breakdown of your publishers. Programs that are too heavily vested in certain verticals, whether that be coupon and deal site or paid search, you're at huge risk in the event that something happens that affects that particular publisher. But if you don't know that, if you don't know who your publishers are and what segments they're working at, that's a huge vulnerability for you. Also understand and identify how your affiliates are driving traffic. Oftentimes, I've seen affiliate managers get really starry-eyed when they see huge spikes in traffic. Well, that's like a huge red flag. You need to understand how they're driving traffic. Are they doing things that they shouldn't, like cookie stuffing or other black hat tactics that could damage your brand or even damage the perception of the program internally within your organization? And then also identify new affiliate segments. So you work primarily with coupon sites. Well, maybe you should start looking at loyalty. So do an audit and understand what segments that you're not working with and working with your network to do gap reporting or gap analysis so you can identify these segments. So once you have this data, and again, this is something that needs to be done with consistency as it's a very dynamic world that we live in, start to build partner segmentation and profiles. So retail marketing 101, build your customer profile, right? You want to know the demographic, their age, what their income is. Do the same thing with your affiliates. I think the most common way that people do it is whether they're an active affiliate or not. So segmenting them by whether or not they're actively driving clicks, driving sales, or if they're a top partner. Again, you need to maintain this because this is going to change month over month, quarter over quarter. Second is really by affiliate category. So, are they a blogger? Are they coupon? What's their category of how are what are the type of consumers that are going to these sites so that you can better understand how to work with them as a publisher? And even within these categories, bloggers, for example, you have all these subsegments of mommy bloggers, automotive, financial review. There's a ton of different segments. So once you start to see this trending data, you can set up these profiles and categorize your affiliates accordingly. And then from a traffic source we talked about. So, how are they driving? Is it through display? Are they doing email, organic, search, video? Understanding those traffic sources and how they're specifically promoting your product or brands may uncover some new opportunities. You may decide to opt into some email distribution or category placements, things that you haven't done previously. We're coming into Q3, Q4, the heavy hitting season of affiliate marketing. Getting those placements and featured promotions lined up is a key to maximize the revenue potential in Q4. Take it a little bit higher. So jumping up from the affiliate perspective, do an overall program analysis. So you really, again, with fresh eyes, going in and identifying efficiencies that exist within your program. Your autoresponders, things that, the onboarding experience that an affiliate goes through from the time they apply to your program to the time they're either rejected or approved. Also identify any inefficiencies. And again, this is probably some data that you're going to be getting from your affiliates themselves by surveys and polling. But understand what opportunities to increase operational efficiency will help improve the return on your program. I think a lot of the focus tends to be on incremental revenue to identify, growth for an affiliate program. Look at operational opportunities as well. There may be opportunities to cut costs or expenses. Look at your overall program, how it's architected as it relates to commissions, cookie duration, how your payouts, do they align with your current business objectives? I think oftentimes we set it and forget it. When we set up our program, we want to pay out for 45 days. We want to, allow affiliates to do, whether or not they can promote certain ways. But chances are that your business objectives and goals have changed since you set up your program. Maybe the focus for the quarter is getting new customers in the door. So maybe you can find ways to incent affiliates to help you support those initiatives. And then just reviewing your overall terms and conditions. I think one of the things that's most important and kind of the foundation of affiliate program is having a strong terms and conditions so that affiliates know what they can and cannot do. Again, this is one of those things that tends to get set and forget. You need to make sure that as your company's branding and guidelines of what how your company's presenting their brand or your brand changes, that your affiliates are in alignment as well. I think there was a study that came out a couple weeks ago just saying how consumers are looking for consistent shopping experiences online across all channels. Affiliate needs to be as part of that. You want to make sure that your affiliates are presenting your brand that's consistent with some of the other channels that you're marketing to. So one of the things that I always find helpful is doing competitive analysis. I think there's opportunities to learn so much. You can look at you can learn things that are relatively fairly accessible and common knowledge that will tell you what your competitors are focused on. Looking at how their program's structured. Are they paying out different payout rates for new customers versus existing customers? Are there specific product segments or categories that are paying out different? It can give you some insight into what their margins are for those particular categories. Look for their top affiliates. Pretty easy. Easiest is looking for their brand plus coupon terms, see who those guys are. But also look at other long tail terms that affiliates tend to exist and rank on. Are you working with these affiliates? If not, why? Exclusivity within the affiliate industry is pretty rare. So there might be some opportunity to get some new affiliates into the program. Look at your competitors' terms and conditions. Are they similar to yours? Are they completely different? I think you can position your program as a competitive advantage against your competitors if you're making it easier, and it's an easier experience for affiliates to work with your brand than your competitor. And also look at things like your network ranking of your competitors. You can often find how they're performing overall in the network within the specific product category, et cetera. So one of the things coming from the OPM or even network side that we like to look at is what are the cross-merchant promotions or cross-merchant opportunities. So these could be working with other brands or merchants in the network, or in our instance that we work with internally as an agency, that might be a good fit for some of our other clients. We have an example of this where one of our customers in the privacy industry partnered up with another company in the security space. The easiest way, if you were to take the business development angle and get contracts to create some sort of partnership like this, would take months. But because they did it through the affiliate channel, it was a click-through agreement. We were able to do some email drops and some other cross-promotions and really delivered some results within a matter of weeks. So really you're looking for brand synergies, product synergies, and other target audience overlap that would be a good fit based on demographic and other customer information. Another area for growth or opportunity for growth is network expansion. So There are certain networks that have certain subsets of affiliates that are maybe targeted or fall within your product niche. So look at working with different networks that may have those types of affiliates that you're not working with today. Also look at networks that could help you break into new international markets that you're not in today. Affiliate is a great way to test new locales and new verticals and new markets that you're not in, because if it doesn't work, you can turn it off without too much internal investment. It also gives you a way to test different models. So say you're doing just a rev share CPA today. Well, maybe we can work with a network that specializes in CPC and test that, see how that works. And having that data and understanding kind of the total lifetime value of the customer will help you prove out and determine whether that's a successful model or not. And again, just keeping an eye for new opportunities as different networks grow and expand. From a ROI perspective, talk about taking partners direct. So Janine, I know there's arguments on both sides from a network perspective on taking partners direct, but there may be some opportunities there that working direct with them as a partner versus through a network, or even using a white label solution that a network may provide, can provide a significant cost savings. And again, it works on, it may give you the opportunity to do some different cross promotions and target their audience differently than you can otherwise. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Allen from Shopping Bargains. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here, and I want to give a quick affiliate perspective I have a coupon site and have got involved in affiliate marketing in 1999. So I've been doing it a while. I've had the successes and some of the epic failures that Rick talked about. So hopefully we'll talk about some of these strategies, and I've broken them down into three good, better, and best angles to look at things to grow your affiliate program. And I'm looking at this from I want something you can take away, ABCs of success here. And for adopt the Old Faithful strategies or Old Faithful methods. Old Faithful is the most famous geyser in Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. It's the most predictable geographical feature on Earth, and it erupts about every 91 minutes, and it's been doing that for about a century at least, maybe longer. So these Old Faithful strategies that we can use for affiliate managers can use, they're good and they work. But we can go a little bit better than that, I think. And one way to go better is to banish some of the loser irritations, some of the things that affiliate managers or others might do on occasion that can be frustrating to affiliates. So I want to talk a little bit about some of those. And then to move finally to the best, you can customize what I call the carrots of motivation. If you've got a donkey and you want the donkey to carry a cart, to pull a cart, you can grab a stick and beat the donkey, and that might work for a while, or you can put a carrot on the end of the stick and let the donkey smell it and give him a bite every once in a while, and you'll both probably be a lot less stressed on the ride. So there's some good carrots that affiliate managers can use as well for affiliates. So the Old Faithful methods. Open door policies. We've heard some about that already, but just knowing each other and being available as an affiliate manager, as an affiliate, I think it's great to keep those doors open, have that information published on how to reach each other. Personal relationships. Affiliate marketing is a relationship-driven business, and we really need to have trust to make it work, and you always have to have it. There's really no substitute for that. One of the ways to build trust is to give tailored content to your affiliates, and these can be really simple vanity codes or exclusive coupons. It can get more complex with seasonal data trends, what's going to be hot in the fourth quarter, what's selling really well with this vertical of affiliates. So all these trends, all this data you have, you can give out some of that. There's unique information about your products, about what's doing well internally, what your deals of the day are, all these kind of things that you can get that data out. Industry news, same thing. You have a lot of information that would be helpful to affiliates. And then there's the regular commission enhancements. You know, there's the tiers, but sometimes you can bump an affiliate up to a VIP level or, you know, a lower level tier with enhanced commission. So those basic monetary incentives. So let's go to the B's, banishing the loser irritations. And there are a number of these, and I'm not trying to sound negative, but we really need to clear out some things that on occasion that are irritations. And when there's a lot of merchants that affiliates can choose from, if you know, there's probably 5 or 6 competitors that they could put on their site as well. So this could make be the difference between getting them on your home page or not. So missing program information is common, and it's probably one of the most frustrating things to me when there's no terms specified. How are we supposed to do this? Or no contact information. Search publishers continually complain about no search guidelines. You know, what can we bid on? What can we not bid on? So, you know, basic things like that. Inadequate communication is another. There's been some affiliate managers, I don't even know if they have a manager actually, but I maybe haven't received any communication in a year or 2 from this program, and they're just autopilot. So got to have something there. At least send out something quarterly or try to contact on occasion, I think would be a good idea. Goes into lack of updates. The creative may be old, may have, you know, particularly banners may have last year's coupon code still on it, and those banners can be updated through the network on the back end, and affiliates, you know, can have evergreen technology or evergreen offers. The outdated imagery, I'll see sometimes the corporate logo still has the holly leaves on it, and you know, we're talking April. You know, we need to make sure that all those things are updated as well. Stale offers and promotions. The more often we can have a promotion, you know, a lot of coupon and deal sites in particular have a lot of automation in them, and some of those offers roll out on the home page, they're on the new offers page or on the expiring soon. So the more chances you give to have one of those offers and promotions, the more display throughout the site that you have as well. So those can be good things to make sure that they're current. There's some more. There's errors, and this should never happen, but it does. There's broken affiliate links, and it's not that uncommon. The 404 page, the server can't find it. You know, that's really frustrating. The back button's going to be hit pretty quickly on those kind of things. Coupon codes, they should work, but they don't always work, and it takes our time and all the other coupon affiliates' time to test those. And, you know, if you can just do it yourself, that would be great. Expired ads, I've talked a little bit about that, but a lot of the networks, you look for a current coupon code or a current offer, and nothing's there. It's expired and it's 3 months old. You know, it'd be great to just keep those things updated. Incentives. One size fits all. It's easier, but it can be very discouraging for the smaller affiliates. If the top producer will get the prize, whatever that is, well, sometimes it's, well, why should I even try? I'm not going to be that. If you know that one of these really big players is in the program, you know, you don't have a chance. So it's not an incentive, really. Another one is assuming it's all about money. A lot of the affiliate programs now have, publishers now have employees. Well, the employee's salary may not be dependent on anything, so you can tell them about how I'm going to bump your commission up and all that, but it's not really resonating with the employee. You know, it doesn't do anything to them. So if you can find a way to reach out to the employee with something that personally touches them, then that could help. And then there's sometimes just ignorant requests that require special coding on our end, maybe to do something. I've been asked to put a no-index meta tag on a page, and or change title tags, and really obscure things. Paid affiliates sometimes are asked, they may be bidding on mud tires, and a beauty products brand will ask them to no-index their campaign. I'm sorry, not no-index, to negative match it so it won't show up, and that's just a little bit frustrating sometimes when there's clearly no overlap there. Loser irritations, a few more. Dropping all coupon sites. There are bad apples, but we need to, if you can, cherry pick those, the bad ones out. Overselling the programs. OPMs sometimes do this, not all of them, obviously, but all of their clients are winners, and all of them are going to do well, and they all should be on our homepage. Well, it's not the case, usually. Very few have winners all the time. Bemoaning our lack of performance. We have bad quarters, good quarters, bad years, good years, just like a merchant. So sometimes we're going to be up and down, and rather than complain about it, maybe we could work together on that and see if there's ways to improve it. Insisting we add them. Sometimes you get really pushy affiliate managers. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the publisher's choice, so give them a carrot. And then there are the industry whales, the really big fish that most of us will never be. If we're compared to them, it can be disheartening at times. So let's go on with the more exciting things of the carrots. Personal relationships that span years, I find to be extremely valuable. I've known some affiliate managers for more than 5 years, and we are able to, we talk about each other's kids and families and dogs and all kinds of things like that, and we build trust. That's the bottom line during that time, and we understand how each other's systems work and what does well for them, what does well for us. And so anything they suggest, I know that I can trust them on it, and I can run it. And in these cases, sometimes they're free to bend the rules because we've built up trust. The rules are made for the bad guys, the ones who are going to push the limits. So you probably, once you have that trusted partner, you can, have some bend the rules on search, give them a little bit more latitude. You'd rather have an affiliate there, I think, than a competitor. So something to consider for sure. Tailored content. This is another area that can really go far. The affiliate may have a blog. You could do a guest post. You could do an interview. You could provide products. You're buying them at wholesale as a merchant. You provide them a few products for prizes for their people. You post on their Facebook page and comment on it on their site. These can be really helpful and give legitimacy to that affiliate. Trackable coupon codes, Impact Radius, Affiliate Window, WebGain, some of the networks provide those. They can tweet those out. They can print them if they have print lists, things like that. Creative incentives. I mentioned it's not always about money. One of the best incentives I ever had was I was able to, if I hit a performance level, I was in the running for a helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon, and I was able to get that. It was very exciting. That's one way to reach out to the employee as well of the big publisher, so you can bypass some of the other levels, and just great incentives. And then there's special affiliate tools that some merchants produce unique data feeds just for that one publisher. Rick has the Publisher Sandbox tools that he offers. Some do special co-branded landing pages and things like that. So there's a lot of options. So good, better, best, ABC. It's not rocket science, I guess, but remember that there are the golden nuggets that John talked about, and there will be churn even among affiliates. So work on these things and find things that really work well and get that mature program. Here's my contact information, and I'm going to turn it back over to Janine.
So now I get to talk about the role of the network. And I'm going to make it really, really fast because these guys had such great stuff and hopefully you know what it is that your network's supposed to be doing for you, but I know different networks approach different things different ways, so I'm just going to talk about it as a moldy oldie in the industry and the way I feel and the way I always wanted to be treated when I was on the merchant side. So one of the things that I think is critical is that your network needs to be your partner. And you should be able to see him that way, and you should be able to trust him and count on him that way. So if you're not talking to your person there, if you can't get him on the phone, keep tracking him down, because that's what they should be doing. I see my job as assisting both the merchant and the affiliate. There's some people that feel that networks are only there to help the merchant. That shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the partnership establishment. Because, you know, as Mike was saying, I've known Mike for years and years and years now. And, you know, from an affiliate standpoint, he trusts me if I make a recommendation to him. I trust him if there's something that he says he needs and that I need to find a way to do it. Because, you know, as John said, we need to remove roadblocks. What's holding a program back? And you may say, you know, well, it's just something that my little program needs. Maybe that's not something that the network's going to consider even doing. Please make sure and let your network know that. We just changed something in the way that we pay affiliates out from our UK merchants to our US publishers, and it's ended up being huge. And it was because one affiliate contacted me and said, hey, do you think you could do this? You know, and so any of those kinds of feedback that you can give to your network, that's always helpful, and it can really help grow your program. The next thing that I see as the role of the network is regular gap analysis. It's our responsibility to try and help you find those nuggets. And there may be some things that we can see from a network perspective that might be able to help your individual programs. So, you know, don't be afraid to ask. We've got all sorts of tools back there that, you know, you may not know that we've got, things that we're studying all the time that you may not necessarily see, but just ask us. Pick our brains. That's what we're there for. We also have the opportunity to see who the new affiliates are that came into the network. And, you know, you'd like to think that all the big guys are working with everybody all the time. But the truth of the matter is sometimes this is the favorite network, sometimes that's the favorite network, and things will transition. Or new people come in, and all of a sudden instead of working with these guys, now they're going to work with these guys. Take advantage of that. You know, ask us who it is that might be there to be able to help you. And, you know, as I mentioned before, data analysis and trends. There's definitely things that are going on that you need to be aware of, that the network person might be able to see and share with you. So don't be afraid to ask. The next point is technology. There's all sorts of new functionalities coming out. You know, I mean, what I like to say about our industry is, oh, that's so last week, and it's true, because that's how fast our industry works. So, you know, your network should be constantly developing new things for you that's going to enable you to have more tools, that if there's some new technology, they can track it or they can identify what the opportunities are. Make sure that they've got what you need. If they don't, ask them for it and see if they can't develop that, because probably you're not going to be the only one who uses it. And that's, you know, that's got to be the case on both sides, not just for the merchant, but also for the affiliate. So if you've got an affiliate who's coming to you and talking to you instead of talking to the network, share that information along, because there is no limit. Your network should be able to try and work with you on something. The next part is promotion. I think it's important for your network to be able to share information about you with the affiliates that they talk to on a regular basis, and that also for the network to tell you about the affiliates themselves. So it goes both ways. And your network should be a conduit of information as opposed to, you know, kind of hiding behind, no, 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 you don't get to talk to them in either direction. To me, I'm all about kind of, you know, the open door policy, like Mike was discussing, John was discussing there, that we're all, you know, different parts of the same team. And, you know, that's why I wanted to have such a variety of people up here, because everybody's a different aspect of the business, but our goal is still the same. We've all got, you know, dollar projections that we have to meet. So, you know, make sure you do it as a team. The other thing is synergies with other merchants. You know, sometimes there's stuff that we can see as a network where, you know, I'm sorry, we don't have Staples right now, but I'll work on it, okay? So, you know, to try and put together some partnerships, which you would never have envisioned in the first place, and yet can come off beautifully. So, you know, there's things like that that hopefully your network can help you kind of find and match. And then the next thing that we do is relationships. One of the things that I think you've heard emphasized here is that this really is a business about relationships. I came to my first affiliate summit in 2005. People that I met there are still my friends. And I'm really proud of that, you know, and those are the people that are long time in the industry. And if you start establishing those relationships wherever you are right now and keep strengthening them, they're just going to keep paying off for you in ways that you could never, ever imagine. And last, the role of the network, I think, is to keep things fair. You know, there's a lot of affiliates that are out there with a misperception that, well, to me, misperception anyway, that networks are only out to take care of the merchant. And I don't think that that's right. I think that we really are there to represent both sides of the equation. We want the affiliates to succeed, because if they succeed, then our merchants are going to succeed. You know, it works the entire way. And I also think that it's important for a network not to just focus on the super affiliates. Everybody wants the super affiliates. Oh my God, just get me 3 of those and I don't care about the 2,000 other people that want to apply to the program. You know, a lot of those guys started off small. And I've watched them, you know, in my years in the industry, where it was somebody where, you know, you thought that they had maybe, you know, 12 uniques a day. Now all of a sudden that's 12,000 a day, or, you know, 1.2 million a month or something like that. And you just watch them take off, you know. Get to know them when they're the little guys, because you know what? There's a fair number of them that one day are going to be big guys, and you're going to be really glad that they know you. So anyway, that's my speed racer version of all my information here, but I wanted to leave enough time for questions. So here we go. Here's all of our contact information, and you know, we all talked about it in advance. We'd love it if you wanted to go ahead and email us and, you know, ask us any kind of questions at all. If you want a copy of the slides, I know Sean's made them available, but I'm also happy to email it to you. So please just give me your business card, and I'll get those right out within the next, hopefully, day or two, but I'll get them out to you for sure. What we're going to do now is open it up for questions. They've asked if you could please go to the microphone and ask, but if not, I'll repeat it and we'll help them. So thank you very much for attending, everybody. And now questions. So yay. Are there any questions?
Oh, we have somebody.
Okay, here we go. It's your chance to pick some really good brains up here, so let's get them.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Or I guess it might be afternoon now. Anyway. My name's Craig. I'm the affiliate manager for Psychic Source since 2005. When you made the comment earlier on about Mexico, kind of hit a nerve. Mm-hmm. Even though we've been doing the program for 7 years, it's very successful. In recent times, we create a Spanish version of the site. And it's been very challenging getting affiliates in the Spanish area for one of the reasons that you mentioned about Mexico is that the mentality out there is it doesn't seem to be a CPA-based market.
Right.
So I'm living solely off of existing affiliates in my English program who are really good, who have the resources or just the inclination to try the the Spanish-speaking market, which is huge in the United States alone,
right,
let alone going international. So I was wondering, just to help me expand my program more on the international and on the Spanish-speaking end, if you had any, because you kind of threw me off when you said like start a network. I wasn't really following how I would do that as a merchant. So
okay, so that's a great question. So the thing with Latin America, and I came into the Latin American market with my position at all hotels. I was global distribution manager. We were going to emerging markets, and the launch market was Brazil, Argentina, and Poland, actually. And so I had a lot of time to try to contemplate what we were going to do in Brazil. And it's the same thing there, a little less, but 3 years ago it was the exact same thing as Mexico is today. And all of Latin America is very similar. Yeah, they are based on a CPC, CPM model. They're based on upfront cash placements. But you got to remember what the Mexican market is right now. It's sort of like where we were about 12 years ago, where everyone was on AOL, maybe longer than that. But it wasn't really, it's not AOL now, it's some of the social media and it's portals. So a lot of the traffic identifies a portal, and then that's basically how they do business. So that's one piece of it. You have to really be able to have partners down there that have relationships with these major portals that bring traffic in overall into the internet and then funnel them into your site or funnel them into the business that you want them to get into to get to your site. Now, with that said, you can't just go to Mexico. Well, actually, you'll be able to soon, but you can't just go to Mexico and say, hey, I want to find an affiliate network like you can here in the United States. So what we did was we found a media company down there, and this was back in '08 with another position. We discussed basically starting an affiliate network together. That company that I worked with helped them set up. We were going to be the launch customer, and basically they were putting together through one of the platforms like HasOffers or Direct Link and things like that, their own affiliate network program based on their marketing skills. So the media company creates an affiliate company. The affiliate company launches a rev share model in Mexico, and then they use their media relationships to start breaking into that business. Well, the Brazil kind of really didn't get off the ground for us, although it's starting to move now. When I come to 1&1, they asked me to open up Mexico, so I knew exactly what we were getting into. So I called up some of these folks that were still running that program because it was launched in '08. They had some time to ferment. They had a bunch of good merchants, a lot of good publishers, and now we're coming into the Mexico market. So the answer to your question is there's two pieces. The first piece you're doing right. Getting business from existing markets like the United States, Canada, or even Spain, or any parts of Latin America that can do business in Mexico is very helpful, and especially on an established network like, you know, the larger ones. But at the same time, you have to get into the Latin American market and do business development with them and have relationships there. So you need to have a company down there that's willing to really put forth that model. And it's not easy. I mean, we're having our own growing pains, and we're pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. But with all that said, once you get one or two big accounts on board, and once you get one or two big publishers to show the model works, everybody's going to want to do it. It's the way it is in any business. It's just a little harder. Last piece on Mexico. Mexico is absolute referral business. The Mexican and the Spanish-U.S., same thing. So you have a business plan here, right? We talked about business plans. Spanish-U.S. and Mexico National, those are synergies. Get a Spanish-U.S. site together, similar demographic. Those U.S. companies, program managers that are helping you in Mexico are going to give you big boost here in the United States on the Spanish side. All those creatives could work. You just have to change some of the URLs. But on the Mexico side, you know, you basically need to develop that network. You just have to work through it and really try to get these bigger publishers on board to accept the model, even if you give them upfront cash. I mean, you have to do something to get on those pages and show there's a cash flow and get them excited about it. So it's not easy, but there's two parts. You got one part. The second part is getting a good partner down there to identify that model and be willing to really invest in that model, you know, and that's really, that's the answer at this point. It's not an easy one.
So thank you very much. Thank you.
Right now, we're officially at time, so I have to officially stop it. But we're all going to be around here for a while to answer questions or help you in any way we can. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, panelists, and enjoy the rest of Summit. Thank you.